Yes, thank you, Michelle. Well, what are these two doing here? Crawley Town and Crewe Alexandra were supposed to be fighting for their League Two lives this season. This wasn't in the story, but these two write their own scripts. This hasn't been relegation, this has been revelation. Those players and the two managers will have done this walk, lived this moment time and time again in their heads. Now they are doing it for real. Taking in every moment, every step, every sight and every sound, walking into the greatest football stadium of them all. The cheers of Oxford United echoed into the Wembley night. The tears of Bolton Wanderers have dried. Now the stage is left to Crawley and Crewe, standing at the unknown. Crawley Town in their lucky all-white kit. They've sealed their last three promotions wearing the white kit. Crewe Alexandra in their red and white for this red carpet occasion. The presentation party is led by Rick Parry, the chair of the EFL, alongside Andrew Rushgrove, commercial managing director of Sky Betting and Gaming. Mickey Demetriou, who has taken on the captain's armband, leading Rick Parry down the line. It is a baking hot Wembley day which could have an effect. Ben Toner is the referee. As Michelle mentioned, we do have VAR. Michael Salisbury is at the controls of that. Crawley Town's first ever visit to Wembley Stadium. Finally, Crawley Town get their day at Wembley. They had only ever heard about it. Now they get to see it and see what all the fuss is about. Club history being made, their first time in their 128-year history of being here. The oldest EFL club to be making a first appearance at Wembley. The national anthem will be sung by Naomi Simon and will be signed by Dave Shields.
Naomi Simon, joined by British Sign Language interpreter Dave Shields.
It's Crawley Town, it's Crewe Alexandra, it's Wembley Stadium. And shortly, it's down to business, the business of winning promotion.
Here are today's team lineups.
Well, let's take a look at the teams for you. And Crawley Town made one change to the side, which left MK Dons in ruins in the semi-final. Kellen Gordon starts at wing-back in place of the unfortunate Harry Forster, who injured his hamstring in that game at Stadium MK. Danilo Orsi has been deadly in front of goal this season with 24, including a hat-trick against MK Dons. Liam Kelly knows all about the playoff pain. He's lost a championship final here with Reading. That was in 2017. Jay Williams, Clyde Lollos and Adam Campbell have all been signed from non-league football. Well, Crewe Alexandra striker Elliot Nevitt has previous here at Wembley, having scored a hat-trick in the FA Vars final for Warrington Rylands 3 years ago. Mickey Demetriou has lost 2 playoff finals during his Newport County days. It's pain which cuts deep for him. He's looking to put that right today. Max Striek is the emergency keeper who's become a hero at Crewe. They've had big injuries to deal with in the goalkeeping department. They don't have a substitute goalkeeper on the bench. If Striek is injured or sent off, they've already selected an outfield player to go in goal. So Liam Kelly will be at the heart of this for Crawley Town. Don, how important is he to this team?
Well, I think we saw in the semi-finals against the MK Dons just what a vital player he is. You know, he links everything together. He's got a goal in him 5 this season, 12 assists. Literally, he is somebody that Crewe Alexandra have to try and nullify. Now, these occasions, they're set up, aren't they, for a hero, and often it's a goalkeeper, and he was the hero at a semi-final. I think he's going to be reasonably busy this afternoon. How big a part is he going to play?
He finally gets his chance at Wembley. Max Striek. Lee Bell's Crewe did the double over Crawley in the regular season. That now has gone. This is all that matters. Birmingham, Bolton, Huddersfield, Wigan, Reading, all fallen Premier League clubs who are in League One, and one of these two will be joining them. Don, you've been involved in these. Right now, do you just want that whistle to go?
Yes, he'd wanted that whistle to go for the last few days, Gary, to be honest with you. It is the build-up, the nervous tension. You just want to get on with it. And what you must do is make sure that you leave it all out there. Really important.
It's time for the Sky Bet League 2 playoff.
Well, Crawley have brought over 17,000 here. Crewe Alexandra around about 15,000 was the last count. The 4th tier of English football. 2 clubs who have their eyes on League One. 2 clubs who were tipped to struggle this season, but look at them now.
Yeah, and look, even when the semi-final sort of pairings were put together, I don't think anybody could have possibly called that this would be the final. But it is, and what an opportunity for both clubs.
Yeah, it is 7th against 6th as the League 2 table looked following the final day. The day's here, the moment's here. Away we go. Crawley Town, as we mentioned earlier, in what they hope once again will be their lucky all-white strip. Crewe, having finished higher up the table, did have the option of playing in their home strip or not, and they've taken up that option, and they're in the red and white. There's Corey Adai, who's very adept with the ball at his feet, put under pressure immediately there because Crewe know that Adai likes to play out.
Well, Elliot Nevitt is who leads the charge. I do think he will be the one to look to try and put Corey Adai under pressure whenever the ball goes back to him.
Yeah, he was basically asked to play as a centre-back, a right-sided centre-back in the 2 legs of the semi-final against MK Dons, Corey Adai. Crewe is a club which is renowned for the way it likes to play its football as the players come through the academy, but Lee Bell is a manager who likes his team to mix things up. They do like to play, but they will also be a little bit more direct when they have to be.
I think the template and the game plan will probably not be dissimilar to what occurred at Doncaster in that second leg. They had to be tight and resilient. They were a threat from set pieces. Nicky Dimitriou capitalising early on, and it was a massive goal at a massive time in the tie.
He's involved in the action there, Dimitriou, who is actually from Sussex, the home county of Crawley. There's Liam Kelly as Crawley look to try and settle down here into the passing rhythm.
Well, it's a hot day as well, and that could be a factor later on in this game.
Yeah, we soon scurried out of the heat and up here into the shade of the gantry. Campbell, who has Newcastle United on his CV. Here's Williams. He was being hunted down by Rowe. That one overhit, but you can see what Crawley are trying to do.
There's the little patterns, really. They don't even have to look. They know where their teammates are expected to be when they're in possession of the ball.
Here's another former defensive player Scott Lindsay, who likes to see his team dominate possession because he got fed up as a player of chasing around after the ball. Well, he saved Crawley from non-league football last season. Now he's got them one game away from League One, and he has done it with a style which has captured the imagination.
And it's a different scenario, isn't it, for Crawley Town here. They probably, in most people's eyes, have started this final as favourites, given the demolition job they did on the MK Dons.
There's Chris Long. Now Dimitriou, who's told his teammates, do not feel like I did, having lost a couple of playoff finals during his time at Newport. Williams. There's Conroy. Lolos will glide across the pitch. He's one of those who Crawley have brought in from non-league football, was playing at Oxford City last season. He's made a real impact this campaign with 15 goals to his name. He plays with a swagger. This is Kelly. Now right, into Gordon. Long leaves his calling card. Well, Lee Bell is Crewe through and through. A youth player, a first-team player, a youth coach. Now the main man and a playoff winner as a player. Now he's going for the double.
Yeah, you heard Paul Cook allude to his post-first leg interview, where he was really positive and told the world, don't think this is over. I thought it was a really important message, particularly for his young group of players.
Yeah, he told his players after that first leg, don't leave here sulking, there's a second leg to come. And Crewe, like Crawley, their powers of recovery in the regular season this season have been quite incredible. Adai steps forward. Off the head of Ed Turns. There's Campbell. Now Clyde Lolos, who was robbed of the ball. Rowe drives forward for Crewe. He runs into trouble. And Nevitt was offside. That's why he couldn't make the move for it, but there's Adebisi. Dimitriou. Shiloh Tracy, the target on the far side of the pitch, looking to outwit Jeremy Kelly, and he has done. Long is in the middle, and Nevitt, but so too Corey Adai.
Well, he's a handful, isn't he? Shiloh Tracy. He's got that ball-carrying ability, the ability to beat a man. And when you beat a man, you open up spaces, you can make things happen. Brilliant there, it really does. The defender, unfortunately for him, nobody making that run across the near post.
Yeah, he's a player who was at Tottenham as a teenager. Shiloh Tracy. Jeremy Kelly looking to show what he can do as an attacker in that left wing-back role. Player who was brought in from FC Tulsa in the winter transfer window. Born in Prague, but his dad grew up in Sussex. That's right.
They've been very disciplined so far. Crewe Alexandra out of possession, keeping a really good shape. Making it hard for Crawley Town to penetrate them.
Well, here's Campbell. And he gets it back from Orsi. Gordon was the target, but beaten to it by Rio Adebisi.
It's a shame, overhit. The first initial part of that was brilliant. He started really well, hasn't he, Rio Adebisi, a real talent.
But Crawley, when they do venture forward, they will leave space behind them. They did wonder which Crewe formation would turn up here today, because Lee Bell likes to switch between a back three and a back four, and in Crewe's 2 victories over Crawley this season, he has matched Crawley up with a back three and a box in the midfield, but not today. It's a back four. Right, there's Gordon. Gordon has gone for the return, but once again, Adebisi knew what was happening. There's Elliot Nevitt, who, as we mentioned in the team, you scored a hat-trick here in the FA Vars final for Warrington Rylands 3 years ago. He left disappointed because he felt he should have had 4.
I like it. All about the standards. He's been a shining light, hasn't he? A real good season. He scored 5 of Crewe's last 7 goals in the regular season at a time where they really were struggling to find the back of the net.
Well, a chance for Max Striek to launch this long for Crewe Alexandra, and Nevitt is the inevitable target, but it sails over his head.
He's being told head turns, wanted the ball played short. It was an option.
Well, was out of the picture at Wycombe. Max Striek, after his sending off against Stevenage earlier this season, he didn't get his place back, and that's why he's ended up on loan, on emergency loan at Crewe. Here's where Corey Adai ventures forward to try and be an extra centre-back. Kelly. Well, it was a strong and firm challenge by Connor Thomas. He did get quite a bit of the ball from our view up here. However, he also went through the man.
I think Paul Cook called that one early on, didn't he? He is an aggressive player. It is full-on challenge, isn't it, from Connor Thomas. Arguing that he got the ball, but he also got a little bit of Liam Kelly.
Well, the first intervention from VAR, Michael Salisbury at the controls of VAR has just told Bentona to carry on, having checked that challenge. As Michelle mentioned before the game, neither manager wanted VAR for this, but of course they've got it for the playoff finals for now. But neither manager have particularly done any extra work on that with their players. Scott Lindsay's just told his players that when they are tightly marking at set pieces, just to behave themselves.
Good advice.
Good footwork here from Tracy. There's Tracy again, but loses out that time to Jeremy Kelly.
I don't think anybody's going to be surprised that Crawley are dominating possession, but he will want them dominating it further up the pitch. It's all really been in their own sort of defensive third, most of it.
There's Williams, who gets the free kick, but again, Crewe are looking to try and surround Jay Williams, who, like Liam Kelly, is a key component in that Crawley midfield.
I think think Lee Bell's going to like what he's seen from his team in the opening 12 minutes here. They have not really allowed Crawley Town to settle.
Liam Kelly. There's Williams. So again, Crawley look to try and tempt Crewe out and on top of them and try and use the space in behind. Crewe travelled down on Friday and had a look at Wembley on Friday nights. And then Queen's Park Rangers opened up their plush new training grounds to Crewe yesterday so they could train there. Crawley also travelled on Friday and looked at Wembley on Friday night. And they've been training at Bisham Abbey, England's old HQ. They've also got England's dressing room here at Wembley today, have Crawley Town. That gets away from Orsi. There's Rowe. Kelly unable to win the ball back and the referee in the way, so play will stop.
Oh, it's a shame. It was on its way to Rio Adebisi on this left-hand side. Had a bit of space to run into as well. They worked it well. You can see Adebisi. He was the target.
Ben Toner would make an excellent defensive midfielder. Crewe on the front foot here, but Adai holds on to that as Dimitriou made his way forward. Now he's got to get back. Williams. There's Wright. Now Gordon. Orsi's in the middle. And so with the head of Orsi in the first test of that Crewe back line. Lawless trying to make an impact. It's Kelly! And it's over the top. But the first real attack of the contest from Crawley Town.
Yeah, 15 minutes in, it has been very safe, very cagey, but it's a brilliant delivery from Kellen Gordon into a great area. They don't really deal with it. It falls. It gives Liam Kelly an opportunity. It's a hard chance on the half volley. Very difficult to keep that down.
Liam Kelly, who was so good that Yapstam signed him twice. Took him to Feyenoord, Liam Kelly. Forward by Gordon, again looking for Orsi. It gets away from the Crawley striker. Chance for Dimitriou to make his way forward again, and his centre-back partner, Ed Turns. Dimitriou, 10 goals to his name from centre-back this season. He hadn't scored for a few games until he stepped up in that second leg at Doncaster. Says his teammates were in his ear about that, and he said, well, I can't score every week. And he won't be scoring from that.
No. Gone 13 games to be exact without a goal. Mickey Dimitriou.
Terrible.
And the biggest one of all came at just the right time, very early on in that second leg at Doncaster Rovers.
Yeah, and it's just a tone for the error in the first leg against Doncaster, which was eating away at Dimitriou by his own admission. There's Conroy for Crawley. Kelly. Now Campbell. They've worked this nicely. Orsi involved. Kelly wants it back. It's Kelly. That's the kind of football that Crawley Town can play. They don't finish it off that time, but that's a warning for Crewe.
Oh, it's lovely football, isn't it? Pass and movement, everything outstanding football. Only thing lacking was the real power at the end, the strike. It's not a clean one from Liam Kelly. And it's comfortable, really, for Striek.
They do play some incredible football, Crawley Town.
I've got to be honest, I don't think I've ever seen a League Two team play the way they played, particularly in the last 25 minutes at the MK Dons. It was torture for their opponents.
Well, Rowe went sliding in. The referee right on the scene, he dishes out the yellow card, despite the protests of the man on loan from Huddersfield.
Yeah, he's claiming he got the ball, Aaron Rowe, but look at the referee's position. It's that right boot. It's actually a little bit naughty. There, a little bit high. He's lucky that there's not more force in that challenge with a right boot. Could have been a different colour card.
So the yellow card confirmed for Aaron Rowe. But just signs that Crawley are beginning to settle here at Wembley. Their first ever trip to this stadium. The only other time they've been in the vicinity was to face Wembley Town back in their non-league days. Off the head of Nevitt.
Well, like I said, I think Lee Bell will be reasonably pleased with his team out of possession. They've been good. They haven't really offered any kind of a threat going the other way, though.
Will Wright is ready to try and test Crewe Alexandra from a long throw here. Plenty of room for the run-up. Unlike for Darnell Furlong at Southampton on Friday. And it goes from right. And Crewe get the free kick. Well, the Crawley Town owners at times have come under fire, but they had a 2-year plan to take Crawley Town to League One. And right now, that target is within sight. They are very data-based and data-driven, and Scott Lindsay cropped up on their database, which is why they made the move to appoint him.
What a job he's done, you have to say. There's only 3 of this starting 11 that were at Crawley Town last season. It's been a complete overhaul, and it's been a magical one.
Just seen lovely feet again there from Claddy Lollos. But yeah, their recruitment is very much based in the world of analytics, and then Scott Lindsay with the ones that the options that are given to him will obviously go and watch them and get character references, but a lot of those players initially crop up because of that database they have. Lollos protecting the ball well again. Here's Wright. Conroy. There's Maguire. We might as well say it now, the brother of Harry.
22 minutes, you've done well there.
I think it was 8 minutes in the second leg. Gordon is on the charge here, trying to get in behind Adebisi, who stands his ground. As you mentioned earlier, Crewe have the option to play out from the back or to go more direct into Elliot Nevitt. And Nevitt is the target here, but beaten to it by Williams. Orsi protected the ball well there, and Campbell picks up. There's Jeremy Kelly. Now Lolos. This is Liam Kelly. Right to Gordon. Once again, Gordon trying to put the squeeze here on Adebisi. Once again, the Crewe left back comes out on top.
A talented young man, versatile young man.
Yeah, originally from Croydon in South London, Rio Adebisi, but his family moved to Cheshire when he was a youngster, and he signed initially for Crewe as a 12-year-old. He's had a good season playing in this left-back role or left wing-back.
He scored the winner, didn't he, against Crawley earlier this season.
Campbell has made the dash through the middle here. He was seen, but they couldn't find him.
And this is the area that Lee Bell will want his team just to improve a little bit, settle down a little bit when they have the ball. And it's not a great kick from Max Striek.
Well, they know that Crawley will press them high, which is why Max Striek decided to try and go over the top there. We will have a drinks break because of the heat in this playoff final at Wembley. And so far, Don, Crawley Town have had the best side to goal.
Yeah, just didn't get the power or the accuracy he was after, Liam Kelly, but it was the result of, well, by far, the best bit of football we've seen in this game. As I say, Crewe Alexandra making it difficult for Scott Lindsay's team. Out of possession, just pretty restrictive for Crawley. That is 25 minutes in, just a couple of touches in the opponent's penalty area. No real genuine chances, but it's the other side of the game that they have to improve. Crewe have barely been in the Crawley Town half, really.
Well, Crewe did beat the seemingly unbeatable in the second leg of their playoff semi-final when they saw off Doncaster 2-0 on the night. Went to that penalty shootout when Max Striek threw away his counterpart's water bottle, which had all the penalty information on it for Doncaster. It was a good spot, to be fair, by the Crewe keeper, because it was hidden under a towel.
Yep. Marginal gains, eh?
Mm.
It certainly did the trick. But they were excellent on the night. They went to Doncaster, their own backyard. They were the form team of the whole league, Doncaster Rovers. They'd won 8 home games on the spin, but he gave his team belief that they could go there and overturn that 2-goal deficit, and they duly got the job done.
Just wonder, though, if this break would have done Crewe a bit of a favour, because
yes,
Crawley had a little bit of momentum without really testing Striek. And that break may just do Crewe a favour or two. The drinks break done, we will resume in this League Two playoff final. Just waiting for that ball to be picked up. Will Wright will oblige. Well, Maguire trotted across the pitch for it. There could well be a plan in here from Crawley Town. If there was, it didn't quite work. Maguire gets to that. Demetriou. That's long. Conroy. There's Maguire. Jeremy Kelly driving at Crewe and finding Campbell. Liam Kelly was on the outside, but it was Lewis Billington who managed to get back and deal with it for Crewe Alexandra. And there's Kelly again. Lolos. Gordon screaming for it on this side of the pitch. Lolos goes the other way, and no real power to cause problems for Striak.
Yeah, Kellen Gordon really disappointed in Lolos, having worked the space. It's a poor, tame effort, but look at the space that Gordon is in to his right.
He does like that chop inside, though, Clyde Lolos. No foul by Adebisi on Gordon. There's Liam Kelly again. Again, it's Crawley who are carrying the greater threat right now. Orsi gives chase, Striak on his toes.
Oh, he's annoyed with himself, look. Slightly overhit, but it's the right intention. Again, they win that battle in that midfield area, and Kelly spots the run. Good disguise on it, just a fraction overhit.
Again, though, we're seeing the influence of Liam Kelly. There's Adebisi. Demetriou. Nice drop of the shoulder there from Long to tempt the challenge in from right, and Crewe get the free kick.
Surely has to be a yellow card. I don't think it's going to be, you know. I understand Crewe completely takes him out, and he's away. Really surprised he hasn't seen yellow for that.
Well, a chance here for Crewe to put a bit of pressure on Corey Adai in the Crawley goal. It's Joel Taberner who's standing over it. Nevitt is waiting, as is Demetriou. And the referee has seen something he doesn't particularly agree with. Kelly in turns the two who are being spoken to. Taberner. Don't think that was the intention as Connor Thomas tried to cleverly flick the ball on. And a chance here for Demetriou to use his long throw. This pitch is wider than the one that Crewe normally play on. In by Demetriou, great distance on that. It caused a problem or two, bodies falling inside the box. And it was Thomas who hooked it goalwards. In again by Demetriou with his feet that time. But Crewe just beginning to offer a threat.
Yeah, there's a couple of bodies down on the ground from Crewe. It's Elliot Nevitt and Adebisi. From the long throw-in. There's lots of grappling going on there. Pulled to the ground. Elliot Nevitt, a little bit dangerous game.
Well, it has been checked by VAR. No case to answer for Crawley, but we mentioned earlier on that Crawley do like to really tightly mark inside their own box from those kind of situations, and Scott Lindsay has told his players just to watch their step because of VAR today. Demetriou's popped up on the other side. Here he goes again. Again, great distance on it. It's almost hitting the central channel of the Wembley pitch. Rice has picked himself up.
That was a good little spell, wasn't it? A little spell of set pieces, long throws, free kicks for Crewe. All part of the master plan.
Lee Bell's last appearance as a player for Crewe was in the successful 2012 playoff campaign for his hometown club. There's Wright. Horsey making the move for it. Now turns. Conroy. This is Jeremy Kelly. Into Lolos. Now Gordon. As Crawley look to spread the pitch again. Gordon goes in low. And it was Rowe with the decisive touch for Crewe. Jeremy Kelly involved again. Here's Kellen Gordon. Lolos. Away by Taberner. Now Long. Linking up with Nevitt. Billington. There's Kelly. Lolos. Gordon again is the option. Again, he's delivered the cross, but it beats everybody. Jeremy Kelly will try and keep Crawley on the front foot here. Liam Kelly. There's Maguire. Now Williams. Gordon again. Gordon trying to step away from Adebisi. Thought he was caught, but the referee having none of it.
Yeah, does he just nudge the ball away from Adebisi? There is a coming together. Well, it's actually instigated by Kellen Gordon, isn't it? He's the one who actually stands on Adebisi.
Well, he's in the team today, Kellen Gordon, at the expense of the unfortunate Harry Forster, who injured his hamstring in the second leg at Stadium MK. Another who's brought in from non-league football. He's playing for Bromley. He's the one without the bib on his head.
I just think he must, because he stood on Adebisi's foot. I just wonder whether he's rolled his ankle ligaments a little bit there. Certainly in pain.
Younger brother Cade is at Liverpool. It looks like Kellen Gordon is okay to continue for now. It's Rowe. Forward by Taberner. Nevitt gets the better of Williams. It's Nevitt! And that's the first save from Corey Adai.
Well, it's the first save of note in the game, really. A couple of strikes that Crawley have been comfortable for Striek, but this one, it's hard, it's low, it's going in the corner. Adai deals with it really well. Good strong hand.
Well, he saved a penalty in that second leg against MK Dons from Max Dean. Corey Adai is actually, in terms of quality of chances against him this season, he's prevented almost 20 goals, which is an astonishing number.
Incredible, yeah.
Taberner stands over this for Crewe, and It's aimed towards that near post, and then Adebisi smashes it across the face of goal.
Yeah, he just maybe has more time than he realises here. Rio Adebisi, as the ball breaks to him. Not sure whether he's trying to shoot as this ball breaks, or whether he's trying to hit it across. Maybe I think he's trying to cut across that and spin it goalwards, you know.
Opportunity for Rio Adebisi. Crewe have won on their last 3 visits to Wembley, and they're looking to try and open up Crawley here as Dimitriou throws the ball the other way. Now he gets it back. They've worked this nicely, Crewe, until that moment there when it was swept away, but the flag has gone up in any case as Williams dealt with it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. The last sort of 10 minutes, probably since the water break, they have come more into the game. They are having situations from set pieces. Well, you can see there, last 15 minutes, they are the ones having the attempts and touches in their opponent's penalty area.
Yeah, we thought that drinks break might have affect the game because Crawley were getting on top. But here's Rowe for Crewe. He's got 2 for company, and one of those was Conroy, and it will be a goal kick.
Yeah, it's a bit of a waste, isn't it? Work it well. Lovely little flick from Nevitt. He's got plenty. He's got 3 teammates in the penalty area. Doesn't at any point pick his head up and try and pick one of them out, and it all peters out, which is a shame for Crewe. Good defending.
There's Orsi. That's long. Now Thomas. He's one of those Crewe players who has been carrying an injury. They have been hit by injuries to key players, Crewe, towards the latter stage of the regular season, which is when their form did drop off and they limped over the line in the end.
Well, I think you saw Connor Thomas's importance in that second leg at Doncaster. They really missed him in the home leg. He was excellent at Doncaster.
Crewe ended the season winning 10 points from the 36 points that were available to them towards the end of the campaign. Only Newport won fewer points in that time, so they did have plenty to contend with, but they did manage to get the job done and get themselves into the playoffs. Liam Kelly on the charge again, and now it's Orsi! He's been doing it all season. He's spent his career chasing rainbows, but now he's a scorer at Wembley. He's found the pot of gold, and Crawley Town have the edge.
Well, it's a beautiful goal. It's a thing of beauty, and we've been saying that all season about Crawley Town, about the football, about the goals they score. But this is clinical from Danilo Orsi. He's not been in the game. He's hardly had a sniff. But they would pick up the second ball here, and they never look back. And you shouldn't be surprised that Liam Kelly is involved. Lovely little give and go, not once but twice. But the footwork from Orsi is outstanding, really. To turn away from the defender there, lovely little trick outside of the boot, in no chance for Striek. That is a finish of a man right on top of his game, and he's given them the lead. And usually in big games like this, first goal can be very, very important.
A touch of class. The celebration is a play on words. Horsing around instead of horsing around, and the sleeve sponsor at Crawley at the start of the season said, we will give you, or give the foundation at Crawley, £50 every time you score and do that celebration. They probably weren't expecting 25 goals for the season, but that's what it is now. Gordon. Campbell's in the middle this time, as is Orsi. And Kelly was waiting to pounce as well, and it deflects behind, and it will be a Crawley Town corner.
Well, it is one of those now for Crewe Alexandra. They've got to get to half-time with just the 1-goal deficit. You can see the tails of Crawley are up. It's a good strike. It needed blocking, didn't it? But when you remember when they conceded first against Doncaster in the first leg, they crumbled a little bit, didn't they? And the game got away from them. They cannot afford for that to happen here.
Well, Crewe have conceded 13 goals from corners this season, the second highest in League Two. Liam Kelly with the delivery. It was Conroy who came initially crashing in, and then Maguire at the far post.
He feels he was nudged, doesn't he? Lawrence Maguire at the far post. He may be nudged, but it's certainly not enough from Nevitt to award a penalty.
Well, VAR having a check of it, and it has been checked and cleared. So it's the final day of the Premier League season. Manchester City going for the title. See that against West Ham. 4 o'clock kickoff on Sky Sports main event. Jurgen Klopp's just going. Liverpool against Wolves. 4 o'clock on Sky Sports Premier League. Chelsea are going for Europe against Bournemouth. 4 o'clock Sky Sports Football. And Crawley could be going into half-time here with a 1-goal advantage. Unless Crewe can change the picture. Here's Long. The flag has stayed down.
And we'll get one last chance for Dimitriou, maybe, to take that long throw into the penalty area.
There will be a minimum of 4 minutes.
4 additional minutes at the end of this first half. Dimitriou ready to throw this. Adai coming for it, and it's good, commanding goalkeeping.
It's just what you want from your goalkeeper, isn't it? Takes the pressure right off. You can see the appreciation from his defenders. It's aggressive. It's brilliant from Adai.
Well, he's 6'6", is Corey Adai. He made sure that he took full control of that. Campbell. There's Jeremy Kelly. Maguire. Liam Kelly. Maguire. Away by Billington. Nicely done again by Liam Kelly. To Jeremy Kelly. Back to Kelly. There's Lolos setting his sights, but not delivering.
Well, he's getting a grip of this game, isn't he? Liam Kelly in the middle there. That spells danger for Crewe. Lolos cuts across this. You see what he's trying to do.
Well, he has that style of play that he's instilled at Crawley, and he will not compromise his principles for any team, any place. Liam Kelly sticking out to boots. Shiloh Tracy gets to it for Crewe.
He's only really had the one opportunity, hasn't he, in the first half, Shiloh Tracy, to have a little go at the fullback, take the defenders on. I think Crewe need to try and work those situations for him. Well, top order. This is absolutely outstanding play all around, gives and goes, lovely footwork, and a beautiful finish with the outside of that right boot. And we shouldn't be surprised, really, at the two involved. Outstanding. There's another 50 quid.
Yeah, from the sleeve sponsor to the foundation at Crawley Town. But the reason Scott Lindsay signed him was because his XG was through the roof, but he wasn't delivering those goals in games. So they worked on his body positioning, his finishing, his repetition, and that has been rewarded this season with 25 for the campaign, and that is biggest moment yet.
Well, the biggest commodity in football is confidence, and when you're scoring and you're full of confidence, you can do things like that.
Well, we know that Crewe have great powers of recovery. We saw that in the semi-final tie against Doncaster. We've seen it throughout the season. Only Crawley have rescued more points from being behind in League Two this season than Lee Bell's Crewe Alexandra.
Yeah, I think the half-time whistle is coming at a good time for him and his young team.
Wright is standing over this. Strick stays at home, and the referee had seen a nudge in there. And Scott Lindsay just inquiring to the fourth official, Lewis Smith, as to what had been seen.
Something that I hadn't seen.
It's going in the book.
Yep.
Crawley Town are 45 minutes away from League One. Danilo Orsi, of course it was him, has scored the all-important goal in the first half. A touch of class with the finish. 25 for the season now. Corey Adai has been stretched just once at the other end. It has been tight as expected here at Wembley. But at the break on Crawley's first ever trip to Wembley, they lead Crewe, who usually win at Wembley, by 1-0. Yeah, thank you, Michelle. Well, no matter what happens from here on in this tie and also in the playoff final for the Championship next weekend, right here, this will be the fairy tale story of the playoffs this year. Two teams, as we mentioned earlier, who were supposed to be fighting relegation to non-league football, competing in the League Two playoff final. Right now, Crawley Town have the edge thanks to that goal from Danilo Orsi. But as we mentioned before, Crewe have found themselves in a spot of bother a few times this season and managed to dig their way out of it. Now, when it matters most, they have to respond.
Yeah, very much so. I think the half-time came at just the right time for Lee Bell and his team. I just think they've got to get their forward players more involved in this game, be a bit more creative, because at the minute you only really see them threatening from set pieces, and I think Paul Cook is right. If it continues in the same vein, you can only really see Crawley Town scoring the next goal in this game.
Foul on Conroy. No changes by either team at the break.
He's holding his face, and we know Elliot Nevitt is a robust type of a player. I think it's accidental.
Yeah, VAR have had a check of that, and accidental is the verdict from Michael Salisbury. And Conroy is back on his feet. Crawley finished the season on 70 points, the second highest total in any of the EFL seasons, second to when they amassed 84 points back in 2012. They were playing third-tier football just over a decade ago, playing the likes of Wolves, Sheffield United, Bournemouth. They have been at that level before. Crewe have been away from the third tier now for a couple of seasons. Jeremy Kelly has Rowe. That's Maguire. Now Gordon. There's quite a battle between him and Adebisi. And those two are going at it again, and Gordon has got away from Adebisi that time. Adebisi trying to get back goal side. Orsi was in the middle. This is Campbell. Maguire steps forward. There's Campbell again. Lolos. Gordon again. And Adebisi that time stands his ground.
Yeah, they do get the ball out wide in those areas on a really regular basis, Crawley. Do it well.
Well, we mentioned in the first half that Crewe have had a bit of a problem defending corners this season. Lawrence Maguire amongst those ready to try and pounce here. It is mainly man-to-man marking from Crewe. In by Williams. There's Jeremy Kelly. Kelly's gone for the return. Adebisi. Now Rowe used his body well.
It's just those little bits, isn't it? The final little bits that are just missing at the moment from Crewe. Misplaced passes, wrong choices.
Well, they are unbeaten in regulation time at Wembley, Crewe. They'd lose on penalties back in 1993 in the Division 3 playoff final to York that particular day. But right now, it is not going his or their way. Campbell unable to latch onto that. Chance for Long to try and cause a problem here for Crawley Town.
Oh, brilliant pace. Brilliant defending.
That's Taberner. Tracy gets there ahead of Maguire. There's Maguire again. The flag has gone up for offside.
I don't think he'll leave it too much longer before he thinks about making changes. Lee Bell have to change the direction of this game.
Well, he admits he's ahead of where he thought he'd be right now in his management career. Lee Bell. Crewe have had to make a few managerial changes of late. It was only a couple of years ago he was coaching the under-18s. He's now stepped up to be the main man for Crewe Alexandra, and he needs his team to step up here in the second half. There's Campbell. Campbell again. Well, that is problematic. He's going to straight to Long. It's Long. Adai brings him down. It will be a penalty. And Corey Adai waits for the punishment, which is a yellow card. Campbell's mistake, which was pounced upon, and Crewe have a penalty.
Well, do you know what? It's complacency, because this game has been so easy for Crawley. And we're going to have a look at this. Is there contact? Oh dear, no. There's no contact. Full speed, you can understand the referee thinking there may have been.
Well, they are recommending an on-field review. Now, let's not forget, the managers didn't want VAR here today because they haven't been playing with it at all season, but now this could be huge for both Crewe and Crawley.
I think Scott Lindsay is going to be very pleased that VAR is in operation. It's poor from Chris Long.
So Ben Toner has come across to the screen to have a look at this.
Well, he does get a little bit of a flick on the ball there. Does the goalkeeper Adai. And then there is absolutely no contact. But you can see the clear touch on the ball from Adai. This is going to be overturned, I'm pretty confident.
There's the verdict. No penalty. Decision overturned. And Crawley Town needed VAR then.
Well, is he going to give a yellow card to Chris Long?
Well, the guy's yellow card ruled out.
Yeah.
The two have a conversation, and Scott Lindsay, the Crawley Town manager, will be a relieved man too. That the officials got a chance to look at that again. As I mentioned, he didn't want VAR used in this, neither did his counterpart Lee Bell. Now Crewe thought they'd get a corner at the end of it.
So is he giving Crawley a free kick because of the dive? And that's all I can think, really.
A big moments in this League Two playoff final. I mentioned Scott Lindsay being relieved. The most relieved person in here will be Adam Campbell.
Yeah, he will be. Chris Long is going to be the most disappointed person here. He doesn't go to ground. Can he stay on his feet and get on the end of that? Maybe it's a little bit wide, but...
Well, Adam Campbell is being substituted here by Scott Lindsay. It was his mistake which led to that incident. It's Ronan Darcy who is coming on.
Replaced by number 10, Ronan Darcy.
So Campbell, who used to play for Newcastle, played in Europe for Newcastle as a teenager. Look at that. He's relieved, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Ronan Darcy, who won promotion with Bolton, is on. Maguire. There's Liam Kelly to Orsi. And look, we know VAR has its critics, of course it does, and one of the attractions of the EFL is that there is no VAR usually, but it's just shown its importance and relevance there.
Yeah, they've come up with the right decision between them, the officials. He'll be relieved, so will Adam Campbell. But it was the moment, wasn't it, for Crewe? It was the moment they'd been waiting for. Got the opportunity via a mistake, and Chris Long is going to be the most disappointed man in Wembley. He's let Crawley Town off the hook there.
And of course, on the flip side, the Crewe argument will be, well, the penalty was awarded. We don't normally have VAR in a regular season. So that conversation will go on.
Yeah, well, I always flip it on its head. How would Crewe like it if a penalty's awarded against them for something like that? They wouldn't like it.
Adebisi. Striek will deal with it, or will he? He's put himself in a spot of bother there, but manages to get away with it, and he's got the free kick, but he invited trouble there.
Yeah. It doesn't look like much of a foul by Orsi for me. That is a huge, enormous risk, and that is a very soft. He has got away with one. But that moment, as I said, opportunity for Chris Long, it should serve as a wake-up call for Crawley, but they were so comfortable. Just one moment of lapse of concentration from Adam Campbell.
You just wonder if Adam Campbell forgot that Crawley were wearing white today. The way he played it straight to that red shirt of Chris Long. I'm sure he didn't, by the way. Moved on by Tracy. There's Shallow Tracy again. Crewe have been struggling for goals towards the end of the regular season, having failed to score in 6 of their last 9. Advantage played here as Crawley look to move up the gears. Darcy. There's Williams. Kellen Gordon again. Gordon, and that flicked off Adebisi and caused problems for Striek, and it has gone behind for a corner. And the referee was just waiting to see how that played out before showing the yellow card to Rio Adebisi.
Yeah, it is reckless from Adebisi, can't have any complaints.
Crawley attacking the end where the fans are housed inside Wembley. Maguire tried to get free, he was setting himself there. And that shot goalwards is kept out by Striek. It was Kellen Gordon who set his sights, but here come Crawley Town again. A die. Arrow towards Maguire. Maguire gets his head on it. Jeremy Kelly. There's Darcy. Gordon. Orsi in the middle. Lollis arriving. Orsi. Claims of handball from those behind the goal. Gordon again. Finds room for the cross once more, but Striek holds on.
Just catches Kellen Gordon's hand there. Accidental. And it's a decent save from Striek.
Crewe looking to try and disrupt Crawley's rhythm and momentum here. There's turns. Taberner confronted by Jay Williams.
Yeah, it's all going Crawley's way, isn't it? An hour gone, deep in conversation.
Yeah, Lee Bell alongside there, Ryan Dicker, his assistant, who's been so important to the Crewe boss. Just having a look down the line there, Lee Bell. Is he considering making changes here? There's Rowe. It's Rowe. And Maguire stood his ground. Now Crawley looking for something on the counter-attack. Darcy. Kelly is to his left. Here is Kelly, who wanted the ball playing a little bit sooner. Looks like Courtney Baker-Richardson has been called back by the Crewe bench, and the striker will be coming on shortly.
Yeah, makes perfect logical sense, doesn't it? Elliot Nevitt has been isolated. I would imagine he would put him up alongside him.
And once again, it's that battle on the far side of the pitch, and Adebisi, of course, now has to watch his step, being on a yellow card, but it's been quite a contest between those two, Adebisi and Gordon.
Yeah, and he looks like he's enjoying it, doesn't he? Kellen Gordon. Plenty of experience in League Two, Kellen Gordon.
more of a winger by trade than a defender, and playing in this wing-back role. Again, Maguire has stepped up high up the pitch.
He's a great out ball, isn't he? He really is.
Double change is imminent from Crewe. Josh Osterfield will also be coming on shortly. Another player who's on loan at Crewe from Huddersfield. And it will be Joel Taberner and Shiloh Tracy to make way. So that's the double change, which is on the way shortly from Crewe. There's Long. It's Billington. Looks like it will be Connor Thomas and not Joel Taberner who'll be coming off shortly for Crewe. Thomas, who is only just back really from injury. Nevitt in the middle waiting. And the ball swings behind. So Courtney Baker-Richardson, 10 goals to his name. He comes on. He's only been to Wembley once before, and that was to watch England. He says that was surreal. Now he's on the pitch. He replaces Shiloh Tracy.
Yeah, they struggled, didn't they, to get Shiloh Tracy involved. All the ability, but they haven't been able to get him on the ball.
And confirmation it is Connor Thomas who also leaves the scene. And on comes Josh Osterfield.
They've got the ability to go long now and have support up alongside Elliot Nevitt, who was winning a lot of the flick-ons in the first half.
Well, Crawley are making a change, and Kellen Gordon is leaving the field. He's had an excellent game down the right-hand side, and Rio Adebisi, I'm sure, will be glad to see the back of him.
Yeah, it's been a good battle, hasn't it? But he's been on the front foot in the whole of the second half, more or less. Made life difficult for Rio Adebisi.
In his place comes Adi Adeyemo. So we wait to see how that changes things. He's another player that Crawley have signed for non-league football, was playing for Cray Valley Paper Mills. He's also been at the likes of Fisher and Beckenham. He is on. Once again, there's that unusual goal kick routine that Crawley do. Zakori Adai. So now for Crewe, Elliot Nevitt should have a little bit more company up top. Kelly, of the Jeremy variety. There's Williams. Kelly again, he goes down, caught by Taberner. And the card is shown.
Yeah, again, it's one of those, you can't really have any complaints when you see a yellow card for that.
Darcy and Liam Kelly both having a look at this as we head towards the final quarter of this League Two playoff final. Danilo Orsi's goal right now separates these two. There's a plan. Liam Kelly lifts the ball inside the box. Crewe come up with the answer. And the shot over the top in the air from Adeyemo.
Yeah, one straight off the training ground, bit of kidology. His teammates know where it's going. It's well defended by Crewe.
Well, losing a cup final is one thing, but losing a playoff final is another. A season's work coming to a shuddering halt. It cuts the deepest. Crewe Alexandra need to react and find something here, so they won't be feeling that pain.
They'll have to find a way of working Corey Adai in the Crawley Town goal, because he hasn't had anything to do in this second half.
Did have a scare or two.
Yeah, there is that.
There's Tabana. Ed Turns, a promotion winner with Leyton Orient last season. Adeyemo gets the better of Baker Richardson. And he's got the return here. And that's loose from Williams. Baker Richardson will pick up. Nevitt in the middle. So too was Long. So too was Conroy.
Yeah, he had more time. Had more time than he took, really. He was never really set to try and pick out Elliot Nevitt, but once again, there's a little mistake. They've got that in them, Crawley Town. Yeah, he's just got to hang on to that. It's a poor effort at a cross.
Long throw incoming. Dimitriou launches it. Took a nick off a Crawley head. There's Rowe. Maguire in the way. And the ball stolen back by Orsi. Here's Liam Kelly. Orsi wants to return. Kelly goes the other way. It's Darcy, and it loops behind.
Yeah, it's good defending. Really, and rob the ball. He's spring, he's got options, he's got support. And to be fair, it's Dimitriou, the skipper, gets back. It's a really important block.
Well, how important will it be? Could well have prevented a second Crawley Town goal there. Instead of a goal, they have a corner. Again, there's plenty happening inside the box. Away by Baker Richardson. Jeremy Kelly. There's Liam Kelly. Williams. This is right. Looking for the run here of Lolos, who's faced by Billington. Crewe had enough bodies back, and Tabana will make sure of that clearance. But Crawley again just beginning to build some momentum once more.
Yeah, they're in total control here. And Crewe, apart from the odd mistake, they're not really able to disrupt Crawley Town at the moment.
It's Lolos. Maguire. Maguire gets it back from Darcy. Lolos. It's Darcy again. Beautiful approach play from Crawley Town. They were just lacking the finish.
Oh, it's wonderful football again. Of the highest order, the awareness of knowing where your teammates are there. Beautiful movement, and Darcy, you can see what he's trying to do. Lovely touch from Lolos. He's trying to bend that into the far corner.
Well, time for the second half drinks break. Again, just as Crawley are building momentum, as happened in the first half. But Crawley Town right now are just over 20 minutes away from promotion to League One.
Yeah, again, you're right. It has come at a good time for Crewe Alexandra and gives Lee Bell an opportunity. Got to try and disrupt something. I mean, they very nearly were handed a gift. Adam Campbell gave the ball away for the penalty, but the goal first. It's a thing of beauty, isn't it? You'll never tire of seeing that. Cause for celebration, and then a time for relief. Chris Long He's going to have regrets about that scenario. It gets overturned, rightly so.
Well, they're going to have a smile about it now. Well, that was a big, big moment. Well, Scott Lindsay dishing out a few more tactics to his players. Remember during COVID times, Thomas Frank used to come out with the biggest tactics board you'd ever seen. When the halves were halved, if you like. But Scott Lindsay likes to play this way. His dad was a footballer, Keith, who didn't like playing for teams, again, who had to chase the ball around, direct teams. And Scott Lindsay's love of playing football this way came from his dad, really. And also he loved to watch Liverpool in the 80s and 90s. He studied Ajax for his badges, Scott Lindsay as well. And it's a style of play which is attractive to watch, but Lee Bell hoping that he can find a way back here for Crewe. They were making a couple of changes here, including the introduction of Charlie Kirk, who is back at the club where he came through, and also Lewis Lee. So off goes Chris Long and off goes Joel Taberner. So Charlie Kirk on. He was in the stands watching Crewe when they won promotion here 12 years ago. As I mentioned, he came through at Crewe, headed off to Charlton, but has returned now to Crewe Alexandra, 26 years of age, hoping to try and rescue his club here. There's Billington.
Well, they've got to stay composed here, Crewe Alexandra, and that is not a composed challenge, is it? Well, when there's one goal in it, you always have a chance. But they've got character, you can see there. They have rescued so many situations so far this season, but this is the biggest rescue mission of all now.
Crawley fans rising up away to our left. Over 17,000 Crawley fans here today. The average gates were over the 5,000 mark for the regular season. And at the other end, the Crewe fans watching and hoping that their team can find a way back. Nevitt trying to latch onto that. Crewe, who like Crawley have one of the smallest budgets in League Two. They still invest in their academy, which is Category 2, which is a lot of investment, and there's trouble here for Lawrence Maguire. He looks okay to continue for now, as Dimitriou prepares to line this one up. Again, a fair distance on it from the Crewe centre-back. Forward by Striek. Maguire rising. There's Lolos. Liam Kelly to his left. Lolos, who does like to glide across the pitch. Running into Osterfield that time. Darcy wins it back for Crawley Town. Williams. Lolos. Jeremy Kelly. Drives to the byline, Jeremy Kelly. There's Darcy. Darcy again. That's a lovely little spin here from Liam Kelly, and he's kept at bay by Striek.
Wonderful from Liam Kelly. Lovely little disguise there. Makes the Crewe defenders think he's going to turn backwards. Doesn't. It's a clean strike. And it is one you would expect Striek to save.
Conroy waits. Lolos is there too. Crewe Alexandra need to stand their ground here. Another goal ends their dream. Rowe looking to drive them up the pitch. Crawley back in their numbers, and they've regained it high up. There's Lolos again. Now Maguire. It's Liam Kelly. Maguire, and it flicks behind for a corner.
Well, they have been excellent. There's no doubt the better team are winning at the moment, but it is a fragile lead. As we keep saying, just the one goal. I would love the cushion of another.
Those Crawley fans behind that goal, willing another. Right in towards that near post, not the best delivery, comfortably dealt with. Osterfield trying to make an impact. Adeyemo, was he caught? He was.
They just can't seem to get the ball. Crewe Alexandra at the moment. And when they do, they give it back to Crawley fairly quickly.
'19-year-old Matis Holacek will be coming on shortly for Crewe. Another that they have high hopes for at Crewe Alexandra. Maguire trying to keep Crawley on the front foot. It's Orsi, but the flag, or the whistle I should say, has gone. There's the change. Matis Holacek coming on to replace Lewis Billington.
Substitution for Crewe, leaving the field, number 28.
So Holacek, who joined Crewe at the age of 9, I mentioned before the investment they put into their academy. It's Category 2 status, which is unusual for a 4th tier club. I think it's just Emma Colchester in the 4th tier who have Category 2 status. He's come through the academy. He is on the pitch. And the club chair hoping that that will make the difference. Charles Grant watching on. Holacek's favourite player, the player he studies the most, Kevin De Bruyne, and it's that kind of magic that Crewe Alexandra need here. Adeyemo almost got through the gap. Holacek looking to get involved. Wilsey making the move for it, and he was offside, so Crewe get the free kick.
He's been fairly quiet, hasn't he, really, in the grand scheme of things, Danilo Orsi, but one moment of magic.
There goes Ed Turns. Rowe. It's Rowe. Maguire in the way. Crewe fans raised the volume at that end of the stadium. Looking to lift their players and drive them on. Dimitriou again is summoned forward for this. Launched in by Dimitriou. Turns was trying to get to it. Dimitriou with his feet that time, looking to disguise the ball, and the pass through to Rowe.
It's probably the best couple of minutes of the second half.
A short throw that time, and a bit of space here for Dimitriou. Osterfield. Dimitriou tiptoed in, but no way past a die.
Well, probably for the first time in the game, Corey Adai is a tiny bit indecisive. Doesn't know whether to stay or go. In the end, he gets caught between, really, but the angle he's always against Nicky Dimitriou.
Well, he's had such a miserable time with the playoffs as Nicky Dimitriou. He's hoping not to add this one to his list. Darcy. Up against Adebisi, who's helped out by Holacek. There's Williams. Lolos. Conroy, he slipped it through to Liam Kelly. Kelly, Dimitriou with the block, Kelly again! It's Crawley Town's first time at Wembley, but they're not here for a day out. They're here for business, and the business may just be promotion. And one of their leading men, Liam Kelly, may just have come up with the big goal to send them to League One.
Well, I wouldn't say one of their leading men, I'd say they're the leading man. Has just put smiles on faces, and that should really seal the deal for Crawley. They have been excellent. It has to be said, they've been the best team, but they just needed the cushion of that second goal, an insurance policy. And Liam Kelly has just delivered. And there's a little bit of good fortune, but it comes because the central defender is happy to step into the space. And then, not only does he do that, he plays a brilliant ball. There's the bit of luck, because he's trying to cross that for Orsi. But when it comes off Dimitriou, it's straight back to him. He's quick thinking. He's got the foresight, the presence of mind, the vision to see that Striek has gone. He's gone for the cross. He's out of his goal. And he calmly rolls it in. It's brilliant from Liam Kelly. Outstanding.
It may just send a wrecking ball through Crewe Alexandra's season. But Liam Kelly, who knows all about playoff pain, it's playoff pleasure right now. Can Crewe find a way back? They did it against the odds, albeit in different circumstances, in the second leg of the semi-finals at Doncaster. Now they have to find two quick-fire goals.
He's going to be so proud of his team, because on the biggest of stages, they've played the game his way, the way they've played it all season, and you have to take your hat off to them for that.
Well, Scott Lindsay was assistant manager of Swindon when Liam Kelly turned up for a trial. He felt they should have signed him. They didn't. He's got him now, having signed him from Rochdale. And he's played such a huge part in this Crawley Town rise this season. He is nearly there. And that is the contrast of the playoff finals at Wembley. The halfway line separating delirium from despair.
Yeah. It's always so. It doesn't matter how it comes about. The pain and the pleasure, contrast of emotions, never higher than in a playoff final.
Well, we're heading towards a fair chunk of additional time. Could be 9, could be 10, we're hearing. Additional minutes. Crewe are desperate for something here. Dimitriou. Holecek. Here's Orsi. Darcy. Well, when he took over, it took a month for the then group of players to all turn up on time for a training session. So he knew he had to change the culture. They used to do gym work elsewhere, away from the training ground, and some would be doing it in their jeans, which didn't impress Scott Lindsay. Again, he knew he had to change the culture, and he sent a wrecking ball through that squad.
Yeah, well, mission accomplished. And change of culture has brought the success. As I said, only 3 of the starters were even at Crawley at the end of last season. Massive rebuild, massive job. And it looks like they're going to be rewarded for that.
Yeah, they opted to sign players, a lot of them from non-league football, hungry players who wanted to help Crawley climb the ladder. Two changes on the way. Jack Rolls and Nick Cerula will be coming on shortly.
Well, Mickey Dimitriou, the skipper of Crewe, is playing up front now. They've thrown him up there. Got to chase this game.
Here's Orsi. Orsi hits the deck. And is still down. Looks like cramp is the issue. There's Liam Kelly. There was a mention in the first half. Impressed Jaap Stam so much during their time together at Reading. He signed him for Feyenoord. Adai gets to that, and confirmation of the 10 additional minutes.
Well, he'll take as long as he can. Corey Adai.
There's turns. What do Crewe have left here? In terms of time, they have just less than 9 minutes. Let's not forget that big VAR call at the start of the second half too, when the penalty decision was overturned.
Absolutely huge. Huge moment.
Well, they're looking to threaten here, but too much on the cross.
Oh, it's a shame because they play it well. End up getting Charlie Kirk in behind, but again, can't even put it down to tiredness, really. It's just a little lack of concentration, lack of composure. Hasn't happened for them in that final third, unfortunately.
So 2 former Tottenham youngsters are coming on here in Cerula and Rolls, and it's Claudio Lolos and Jeremy Kelly who will make way. Lolos, who was playing for Oxford City last season.
Also leaving the field, number
Jeremy
19,
Kelly, signed from
Jeremy
FC Tulsa. In the winter transfer window, he is off.
Being replaced by number 25.
And Lolos is going to enjoy this as he leaves the field on this side of the pitch and will be serenaded by the Crawley fans behind that goal.
You heard Macaulay Longstaff before saying he wished he'd enjoyed it. I reckon someone there with a number 8 on has really enjoyed it.
Well, Scott Lindsay, minutes away from achieving what he did quietly set out to do this season. Crawley had that huge game against Hartlepool at the end of the last campaign. The fight to stay in the EFL. They came out on top. Now they're heading towards League One. Dion Conroy was yellow carded just a few seconds ago for delaying the restart. There's Darcy. Dimitriou continues to operate in attack for Crewe. Kirk, away by Conroy. Baker Richardson. One goal could change it here for Crewe Alexandra, but Crawley Town for now are making sure that doesn't happen. It's a painful slip there, though, as Rolls was in trouble, but Adai is not in trouble, and he will hold on.
Yeah, he's got every right to take the strike on Charlie Kirk, but he just cannot get the contact. It was a heroic effort against Doncaster Rovers to get them here. But I think even they will have to concede. Their team have been second best today.
Well, again, we said at the start of the game, for these two to actually be here, considering what others thought would happen to them this season, is incredible. But it will be Crawley Town who will leave here with their dreams coming true, unless Crewe can find something. But it has to happen now.
There just hasn't been any sign of it really throughout the game. Just the one moment that we're all alluding to, the Chris Long opportunity.
Cramp the issue here for Will Wright at the end of this long season on this energy-sapping Wembley pitch. The cheers of Oxford United echoed into the Wembley night last night. Today it will be those of Crawley Town and the tears of Crewe, unless and again, a speculative effort from Turns, but high and over the top of Corey Adai's goal. And a painful moment for the Crewe centre-back.
Yeah, I think it's the follow-through, isn't it? As he takes the strike, he kicks through, he just catches the Crawley defender. Painful.
Well, he's done enough to show that he has a big future as a manager. Lee Bell mentioned that he's won a playoff as a player. He's also lost as well here with Burton Albion against Fleetwood Town. That's, if you remember it, Anthony Sarcevic, speculative free kick which sailed over the head of Dean Linus. There's Rowe. Well, Lewis Lee did eventually bring the ball under his spell. Here he is again. now turns. Now the cries of "we are going up" rise up from away to our left. And those who journeyed up from West Sussex, Crawley, who train in the shadow of Brighton and Hove Albion's Amex Stadium. All of that training is about to pay off. And that goes straight through once again to a die from Adebisi. Well, we said in the first half they've had their critics, the Crawley Town hierarchy. But they said a 2-year plan to get the club promoted. And it looks like he is about to achieve that.
Thoroughly deserved.
A battle on between Orsi and Osterfield. Darcy and Adebisi joining the scrap. Play did stop a while ago. Well, Max Striek getting involved with Danilo Orsi. And the frustration spilling over, understandably.
That's exactly right. That's what it is, and it is understandable.
Here's Rowe. Nevitt. Baker Richardson trying to keep it alive, away by Adeyemi. Into the final minute of additional time. Orsi. 25 huge goals for the season for him. The biggest in the first half here, which he tucked away beautifully. This is Darcy. We've seen that before. Lewis Lee winning it back for Crewe.
Well, it is the forward players that are going to get the plaudits, the midfield, the forwards for Crawley Town, but they have defended heroically as well. They've been solid. They've dealt with everything that Crewe have thrown at them.
And Crewe caught offside. Crawley get the free kick, and that could be the final act.
It's going to be emotional, isn't it, for Scott Lindsay? Smiles on faces.
Yeah, the owners, former players, the fans ready to party. Liam Kelly can banish the memory of 2017 in particular, when he lost the Championship playoff final with Reading here against Huddersfield. Orsi. He's done well here, Orsi. It's Orsi! Looking for the big, big finish, the Hollywood finish.
Yeah, fancied another one, didn't he? Brilliant.
Crawley Town's biggest day is Crawley Town's greatest day. They've been promoted to the third tier before, but to do it here is a dream come true. They have had the time of their lives on their first ever visit to Wembley. Their dreams have come true. They're promoted to League One, promoted to the third tier. We will have all of the reaction from here on Sky Sports Football. If you're watching on Sky Sports main event, you are off to Manchester. Manchester City against West Ham. City going for the title. That's next on Sky Sports main event. Here on Sky Sports Football, the reaction from Crawley being promoted to League One. So Wembley is Crawley Town's today, Don, and again we saw the style of football that they play, the brand of football they play, and it's taken them to the third tier.
Yeah, and you have to take your hat off to them. Look, it was a beautiful moment. The final whistle goes, and about 5 or 6 of the Crawley players collapsed to the turf, and I'm not sure it was about fatigue. I don't think they can believe what they've achieved this season, what he's done, putting together a brand new group of players and playing in that style. You have to say they've thoroughly deserved it, and I don't think anybody probably expected them to get past MK Dons, let alone come to Wembley and put on a show. They have been absolutely brilliant. Congratulations to Crawley Town.
Well, Crawley Town are going places. He is going places, Scott Lindsay. Those kind of places next season, likes of Birmingham City, of Huddersfield Town, of Rotherham, of Reading, of Wigan. The club which just about survived being relegated to non-league football last year. Crawley celebrate, and there again is the contrast in emotions as Crewe Alexandra will spend another season in the bottom tier. Let's get some reaction from Crawley Town. Let's hear from Danilo Orsi. He's with Jonathan Oakes.